Hello and welcome to this week's simulation news. This week we have some major news about the upcoming bus simulator by TML, the bus, as well as about the latest version 1.1 update of Tramsim, which is the most major update for the Tram simulator as of yet. So first of all, regarding the bus, we now finally have the information about the price of the early access as well as the minimum requirements. So let's get into that. First of all, for those of you who haven't seen the previous video or who aren't aware, the release date is on the 25th of March 2021, and this will be phase 1 of the early access. I'm not going to go through this again because I've already mentioned this and covered what's going to be featured in phase 1 in the previous video, so I'll refer you to that if you don't know this information currently. So the system requirements here are the minimum requirements are pretty standard. It's pretty much what you'd expect for the Unreal Engine 4 simulators. It's an i5 4460, so a 4th generation i5 that's 4460 or better. 8 GB of RAM, and then a 2 GB via RAM GPU with either NVIDIA or the AMD equivalent. And again, it's probably going to be about 25 GB. One thing to note is that, again, this doesn't cover all system requirements. You may be able to run this on a lower spec PC, you may not be able to run it. For example, I'm on an i5 3570, but I'm able to run Microsoft Flight Sim, and I'm able to run DSW2, which both have a similar system requirement to an i5 460 or even a higher i5 4th generation. So that's not to say that you won't be able to run it, but just bear in mind that this is kind of that's kind of the general outline. But again, I will be making a video on this on below minimum requirements as well as on minimum requirements. So if you're wondering how well you'll be able to run the bus, make sure to tune into that once the bus is released, and I'll be able to inform you in that regard. But basically, this is pretty standard. I mean, TSW2 has it's an Unreal Engine 4 simulator, and again, it's a minimum requirements are actually a bit higher. It's an i5 for something a bit better than the 4460. Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm not sure if the Microsoft Flight Simulator is the Unreal Engine. I don't think it is, but that's also 4460. And then you have Tramsim, which again is in a similar minimum requirements. So these are subject to change, as it says here. They may change, but it's very unlikely because this is pretty much what will be expected if you compare them to other simulators that also use the Unreal Engine 4 that have been released in the last year or so. And then you also have the recommended requirements. Again, you can find this information on the Bus TML page or on their Discord, and as well, we've also added their Discord announcements into our Discord server, so do make sure to join the Discord server to stay on top of all this information as well. And then we also have the price. So the early access price for phase 1.0 is going to be €25.95, which is a pretty reasonable price. Omsi 2 is €30. You have foreign bus is about 30, etc. Trains World 2 is 30, so it's within reason. I think it's fairly good value. It seems to be fairly good value. Obviously, we'll have to see how the game is, but hopefully the game will deliver as it should, and then all be good. But one thing to mention is that this is the price for phase 1. So one thing they've said is that this is basically if you buy the game when it's released and it's within phase 1 of early access, then you get it for this price. But they will increase the price incrementally within each early access phase. I think there's 3 or 4 stages altogether. Now it's not clear whether they're going to increase it for every stage or just for 1 or 2 stages, but basically it will increase in price over time. So this is probably going to end up being about €35 in the end, maybe 40 or maybe 30, or one of those prices. But yeah, if you want to get this game for cheap, this will be an opportunity, and this will be the price of the game on the 25th of March 2021 when the game releases. And again, they've announced the equivalent. So for pounds, about £21.95, and then for the other currencies as well, it's generally the equivalent of that. Generally, £25.95 seems like a bit of an odd price. You'd think they'd do 25, but to look, I guess those 95 cents per customer add up. But anyway, even still, it's fairly good value. It's pretty much kind of the price range within a lot of the early access simulators, like Workers on the Resources Soviet Republic or Metro Sim. Again, similar pricing. So IBM and G Drive. So I think it's fairly good value for money. And then also we have the update for Tramsim. So version 1.1 of Tramsim came out, which has released this brand new E2 Tram, which is currently 44 years old, and now you can drive it in Tramsim. So here it is, it's version 1.1, and they've actually added a hotfix. So there were some issues. It's the E2 coupled with a C5 wagon. And then here's just a quick video for you guys of what the tram looks like. So this is just going to show you the tram from all angles, the interiors, new door features as well. So here we are at Stefan Fadinger Platz, the terminus of line 1, and this is basically the tram from all angles. So I'll let you enjoy this kind of video. I'm just going to wait until the doors open just to show you the steps that slide out and slide in, and will also be interior tabs of this. This tram is a free addition to the Tramsim, so as long as you own the game, it should update automatically for you on Steam or when you load in Tramsim, and then you'll be able to drive this tram as well. It's a very nice addition to the game, adds a bit of variety, so you can drive 2 trams instead of 1. It'll be interesting to see where the development of Tramsim goes from here on. So now you're going to see this. The door system, how it works is, so once we open the door, it'll open up and then the stair will detach. So I'll let you enjoy this video now, the showcase. So that's really the simulation news for this week. So once this video is over, I will get back in, or I'll start commenting again. Okay, and then that brings us to an end for this week's simulation news. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay on top of the Omsi 2 and simulation news, which will be for the Omsi 2 news on a weekly basis, simulation news on a fairly regular basis every 1 or 2 weeks. Will be becoming more frequent as well. Also, once the bus by TML is released, there'll be many videos about settings, early access, many videos about the early access phase 1 of the bus, as well as best settings to use, how it runs on minimum spec or low spec, and all that kind of thing, as well as the TXL that will be featured with the bus version 1.0. One thing to mention as well is that if you want to find out even more about this stuff, you can always join the Discord. We've added in the announcements of all these major simulators into our Discord server, so that again is a great way to stay on top of the latest news. That's it for now. Until next time.